Hi, and welcome to the Beverly Hills Vibraharp Invitational. Today we're here with three wonderful musicians that have been playing the vibraphone for many, many years, and I'm going to start out with Mr. Bill Bowe. Bill, I wrote down some questions because I'm sure our viewers would like to know this information. When did you first start having an interest to play the vibraphone?
When Lionel Hampton with his big band came through Edmonton, Alberta, when I was about 17, I heard him play, and he just absolutely set me on fire, both in my heart and my mind. It was just too much when I heard him.
So he was definitely one of your musical heroes.
Yes, I think he's the father of vibraphones, pretty much.
And since then, who have you been playing with?
Oh, I did some time with Pete Fountain. I worked with Ben Webster, Stuff Smith, Rex Stewart, on and on and on, just a lot of people.
Okay. One of the things I'm sure they want to know is a brief history of the instrument.
Well, it started in Africa, I suppose, with wooden bars, which is very much like a marimba, the modern-day marimba. And then they came up in the turn of the century with the xylophone, which didn't have a motor. And then they put a motor to it in the 30s, and they called it vibraphone or vibraharp. And the motor gave it the vibrato. So I'll give you an example. If you just hit a note like this, there's no vibrato. When you turn the motor on, you get a vibrato.
I see. And now there's a new trend where they're playing without the motor. Is that correct?
Some guys do that. It's a matter of choice. Of course, if your belt breaks or your motor burns out, then you have no choice. You play without vibrato. But it's a personal choice, yeah.
I see. And any advice for the beginners that are starting out with this instrument?
Hang on to your day job.
Well, I know you're working currently now in Beverly Hills at Alice's Restaurant. Is that right?
In Westwood, yeah, up
Westwood.
at Alice's Restaurant.
Great. And you're there what nights?
Fridays and Saturdays.
Fridays and Saturdays. Well, Bill, thank you very much. And
You're
all the
welcome.
best. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Jerry Ryan, and Jerry is basically a beginner.
That's
But
correct,
I'd
right.
like to know how you first got inspired, Jerry.
Well, I guess it goes back about 30-some-odd years ago. I was taking some drum lessons at a school in New York City. Gene Krupa and Cozy Cole had a school in New York, and then I decided to further my education in music to take percussion, because this is a percussion instrument, vibraphone or vibraharp, depending on the manufacturer, possibly. And I guess that was in the late 50s, 1956, 58. I took a few lessons on the vibraphone, and for some unknown reason, during that time period, things happened where I stopped my education in music. And just recently, maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, I decided to, after 30-some-odd years, to continue my musical career.
That's great, because I know sometimes a lot of musicians, for one reason or another have to do that, but it's great that you're back playing.
Yeah, I have a love for the instrument. Actually, my love for the marimba is much greater than the vibraphone, but it was a matter of purchasing the instrument through a friend of mine a few months ago, which was a good price, and so I decided to stay on this. But the marimba, actually, the sound of the marimba was really what I really loved, that particular mellow sound.
And so who was your musical hero?
Well, because I come from that era, in the 50s, or listening to different musicians, I guess Lionel Hampton would be. But actually, for me, it was anyone that could play the instrument.
Right.
That could contribute to the instrument was, I fell in love with that instrument. So anyone that could show me something on the instrument and make it sound the way it should sound, like Bill or people like himself, would be my type of a person. Just to copy in some form or another.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jerry.
It was nice talking.
And next, you're welcome. Next, we have Philip Weinstein. Hi, Philip. Okay, but I have some questions,
You're
Philip.
lucky. Let me see, I just wrote it. I think I'll call it as time goes by.
It's got a great melody.
You like it?
I do. Okay, when did you first get interested in the vibraphone?
Well, Gracie, I've been interested in Vibraharps. You know, I call it a Vibraharp, but some guys call it Vibraphones. And it's basically the same instrument. I had a year of piano when I was 7, and then I got into percussion, into drums. The piano's also percussion. But I couldn't understand a dotted quarter note, so I got into percussion, which is all about time. And about 15 years ago, I started playing vibes.
So who was your musical hero?
Guys like Lionel Hampton
Yeah.
and Milt Jackson.
Seems like Lionel Hampton is everyone's favorite here today.
Gary Burden, Roy Ayers, Roy Haynes, Roy Rogers, a lot of guys, you know, named Roy. You know, they say vibe players aren't a glum lot. You know, we play one bar at a time. I used to go into one bar at a time. But,
So would you like to tell us anything about the instrument?
yeah, mine's paid for. Is this a rental? No, this is what a lot of guys play with the instrument off now. Some play with it on. It depends how much the electric bill is, I guess. Gary Burden started to play with his instrument off and started to, you know, become very popular that way. Aren't you going to ask how much I'm paying you today?
No, I'm not. I'm going to ask you, do you have any advice for the beginners?
Yeah, take a close look at the Beverly Hills Vibraharp Invitational, and you're going to see some really, really good players today, and I hope you enjoy yourself.
All right, thank you, Philip.
And I want to thank Bill for being here today and Jerry for being here today, because they're two of my favorite people. And thank you for being here today, Gracie.
You're welcome. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and just to let the gentlemen know to keep up the good vibes.